Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." P1. This wisdom applies perfectly to relationships. Most men, in their pursuit of connection, make a fatal mistake. They try too hard. Ironically, the more effort you put into proving yourself, the more likely you are to push her away. In this episode, we'll dive into 7 principles that will teach you how to master the delicate balance of effort and attraction. By the end of this video, you'll understand why less is more and how to cultivate confidence and mystery in a way that makes her want more of you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your experiences in the comments below. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. The downfall of trying too hard. Many men fall into the trap of overcompensating when they're interested in someone. They text constantly, make themselves overly available, and go out of their way to impress her, believing these efforts will secure her affection. While their intentions may be genuine and heartfelt, the result is often the opposite of what they hope for. She begins to lose interest, sometimes without even fully understanding why. When you try too hard, it inadvertently signals neediness and a lack of self-assurance. Attraction is a delicate balance, thriving on the tension between availability and mystery. Desperation, however, destroys that balance. Imagine a man who sends her good morning, afternoon, and good night texts every single day, or who immediately drops all his plans just to cater to her whims. While his actions may be intended to show care, they often come across as clingy or overly eager, leaving her feeling overwhelmed and smothered rather than cherished. This tendency to overcompensate stems from a misplaced belief that more effort equals more connection. But the truth is, a relationship built on excessive effort and overextension often lacks the very foundation of mutual respect and desire. When a man prioritizes her approval over his own sense of worth, he unwittingly diminishes the qualities that make him attractive in the first place: his confidence, independence, and sense of self. Stoicism, one of the great philosophies of inner strength, teaches us to focus on what we can control and let go of what we cannot. If you're constantly seeking her validation or bending over backward to win her favor, you're not just giving away your power, you're losing sight of your own values and priorities. A man who knows his worth doesn't feel the need to chase validation. Instead, he becomes a natural magnet for respect and admiration. It's important to understand that relationships flourish when both partners maintain their individuality. By constantly trying to impress or over-deliver, you risk overshadowing your own identity and becoming someone who exists solely to please. True attraction comes from being your authentic self, someone who values his own time, goals, and happiness, while also valuing hers. A strong connection is built on mutual respect and shared energy, not on an imbalance of effort. Picture this instead: a man who is confident in his path, focused on his passions, and deliberate in his actions. He doesn't bombard her with messages or drop everything at a moment's notice to accommodate her. Instead, he engages with her thoughtfully and genuinely, while maintaining his own rhythm and direction in life. This balance of attentiveness and self-respect creates a dynamic that naturally draws her in, making her feel genuinely valued rather than overwhelmed. Additionally, trying too hard can create an unhealthy dynamic in the relationship. When one person is constantly pursuing and the other is always being pursued, it can lead to an imbalance of power and effort. Over time, this dynamic can breed resentment or disinterest as the relationship starts to feel one-sided. To prevent this, it's crucial to foster mutual interest and effort, allowing the connection to grow organically rather than forcing it through overcompensation. There's also an important lesson to be learned from restraint. Sometimes, holding back shows more confidence than constantly reaching out. It conveys the message that you're not desperate for her attention because you have a fulfilling life of your own. This doesn't mean playing hard to get or ignoring her. Rather, it's about demonstrating that your world doesn't revolve entirely around her presence. When you allow space to exist within the relationship, you create an opportunity for her to genuinely miss you and appreciate your presence. Stoicism reminds us to focus on inner peace and self-mastery. When you center your life around your own growth and fulfillment, you become someone who is genuinely attractive, not because of effort, but because of the strength and stability you exude. Women are drawn to men who are grounded and self-assured, not those who seem to be seeking constant reassurance or approval. In conclusion, the downfall of trying too hard lies in its ability to undermine your confidence and individuality. By focusing on what you can control, your actions, mindset, and priorities, you free yourself from the need to overcompensate or prove your worth. Instead, you show up as a man who is content, confident, and unshaken, naturally drawing her admiration and interest. Let your efforts be thoughtful, not overwhelming, and your presence be steady, not suffocating. The less you try to impress her, the more she will be impressed by the man you already are. Chapter 2: Embrace the power of holding back. One of the most attractive qualities in a man is independence. When you're fully immersed in your own passions, career, and interests, you radiate confidence and self-sufficiency. Women are naturally drawn to men who have fulfilling lives of their own because it signals that you're not relying on her for your sense of purpose or identity. This level of independence creates a magnetic allure that makes you stand out in a way that is both effortless and undeniable. However, holding back doesn't mean playing games or being emotionally distant. It's about creating a sense of balance and giving her the space to miss you and wonder about you. When you're always available or overly eager to please, you unintentionally eliminate the intrigue and mystery that keeps her captivated. Instead of being predictable, allow the relationship to breathe. Let her feel the anticipation that comes from not knowing everything about you right away. Curiosity and a touch of unpredictability are powerful forces in maintaining attraction. Epictetus taught, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This philosophy applies beautifully to relationships. When you constantly seek to fill every moment with her presence or seek her validation, you inadvertently communicate a lack of fulfillment and self-sufficiency. The message you send is that your happiness depends entirely on her, and this dependence can make the relationship feel burdensome for her. Instead, focus on showing that your contentment comes from within. A man who is centered and self-sufficient doesn't just attract attention, he commands respect. By holding back, you shift the dynamic. You allow her to come to you on her own terms, which often deepens her interest. People naturally value what they must work for or wait for. If you're always there at her beck and call, you diminish the sense of challenge and value that keeps her invested in the relationship. On the other hand, when you pursue your own life with vigor and enthusiasm, you invite her to wonder what makes you tick, what excites you, and what keeps you so grounded. This doesn't mean being aloof or detached. It's about demonstrating emotional maturity and self-assurance. For example, when she asks about your day, share highlights of your personal growth or achievements, but don't overshare every detail of your life. Keep some aspects of yourself private, not out of secrecy, but out of respect for the slow unfolding of connection. Let her feel the thrill of discovering you piece by piece, rather than all at once. This gradual unveiling not only builds anticipation, but also deepens the bond as she uncovers more layers of who you truly are. Holding back also cultivates respect in the relationship. When you prioritize your passions, friendships, and responsibilities, you show that you're a man of depth and ambition. A woman will admire and respect a man who knows how to manage his time and doesn't lose himself in the relationship. It's this respect that often transforms attraction into lasting love. Women want a partner, not a project, and by standing firm in your independence, you show her that you're someone worth standing beside. Additionally, this approach aligns with the Stoic idea of self-control. Restraining the urge to always reach out or seek reassurance shows discipline, a trait that Stoics value deeply. It's about mastering your emotions and desires instead of letting them control you. This level of emotional intelligence not only benefits your relationships, but also every aspect of your life. By exercising restraint, you send the message that you are guided by purpose and principle, not by fleeting whims or insecurities. Holding back also fosters a stronger, more balanced dynamic. When both partners maintain their individuality, the relationship becomes a union of equals, rather than one person constantly seeking and the other constantly giving. This equilibrium is where true connection thrives. A man who holds back isn't withholding affection or care, he's ensuring that the relationship is built on mutual respect and admiration rather than dependency or imbalance. Moreover, the power of holding back extends to how you communicate. When your words and actions are thoughtful and deliberate, they carry more weight. A man who speaks with intention and acts with purpose creates an aura of steadiness and reliability. She will appreciate the moments you choose to engage because they feel meaningful and sincere, not driven by insecurity or the need for validation. In conclusion, the power of holding back lies in your ability to nurture both your independence and your connection with her. By being comfortable in your own skin and fully engaged with your own life, you naturally become someone she respects, admires, and desires. Let her come to you, not because you're playing hard to get, but because you've created a life so rich and fulfilling that she can't help but want to be a part of it. By embracing your own passions, maintaining a sense of mystery, and showing emotional discipline, you create a relationship dynamic that is built on mutual respect and genuine attraction. Hold back not as a tactic, but as a reflection of your confidence, self-worth, and unwavering sense of purpose. Chapter 3. Drop the pressure, raise the confidence. Confidence is one of the most alluring qualities a man can exude, and it becomes even more compelling when it's grounded in self-assurance and restraint. Unfortunately, many men sabotage their chances by applying unnecessary pressure, whether it's through constant texting, over-the-top romantic gestures, or rushing the progression of the relationship. This overwhelming approach not only creates discomfort but can also push her away, as it signals a lack of confidence and emotional balance. True confidence is rooted in self-composure, a quality the Stoics revered. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This principle reminds us that confidence isn't about manipulating external factors, such as her feelings or reactions, but about mastering your internal state. When you know your worth, you don't feel compelled to prove it through excessive effort. One of the most effective ways to exude confidence is by giving her space. This doesn't mean playing games or intentionally creating distance to appear mysterious. Instead, it's about respecting her autonomy and showing that you're secure enough to allow the relationship to develop naturally. When you're constantly trying to fill every silence or demand her attention, you unintentionally convey insecurity. On the other hand, when you're comfortable with moments of quiet and can enjoy your own company, you demonstrate emotional maturity, a quality that's irresistibly attractive. Confidence is also reflected in how you handle uncertainty. In the early stages of a relationship, it's natural to wonder where you stand or how she feels. However, bombarding her with questions or seeking constant validation can make you appear needy. Instead, adopt a mindset of calm curiosity. If she's interested, her actions will reveal her intentions without you needing to force the issue. Trust in your ability to interpret these cues and adjust accordingly, rather than seeking explicit reassurance at every turn. For example, if she hasn't responded to a text right away, resist the urge to send a follow-up message or double text. Silence can feel uncomfortable, but it's also a powerful opportunity to show restraint. By not reacting impulsively, you send a subtle yet impactful message. You're confident enough to wait and don't depend on constant communication for validation. This approach not only preserves your dignity, but also gives her the chance to miss you, a feeling that fosters deeper attraction. Another common pitfall is the tendency to overdo romantic gestures in an attempt to impress her. While thoughtful actions are important, grandiose displays can come across as overcompensating. True confidence is about quality, not quantity. For instance, instead of showering her with expensive gifts or planning extravagant dates, focus on meaningful gestures that reflect your genuine interest and understanding of her personality. Something as simple as remembering her favorite coffee order or sharing a book you think she'd enjoy can have a more profound impact than a flashy, over-the-top gesture. The Stoic approach to confidence also emphasizes intentionality. As Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. V1. In practical terms, this means focusing less on trying to appear confident and more on cultivating the traits that naturally exude confidence. Pursue your passions, set personal goals, and live a life that fulfills you independently of her presence. When you're genuinely engaged in your own growth and happiness, your confidence will radiate effortlessly. It's also crucial to understand that confidence doesn't mean being emotionless or detached. Emotional availability and vulnerability are essential components of a healthy relationship. However, these qualities should be expressed with balance and timing. Sharing your feelings too early or too intensely can overwhelm her, whereas gradual and thoughtful revelations create a sense of trust and intimacy. For example, instead of declaring your deep feelings after only a few dates, start by sharing smaller insights about your values or experiences. This allows her to get to know you in layers, fostering a deeper connection without the pressure of immediate reciprocation. Similarly, when she shares something personal, respond with empathy and interest, but don't feel the need to match her vulnerability right away. Confidence means knowing when to listen, when to speak, and when to simply be present. Lastly, confidence is about embracing the outcome, whatever it may be. Not every connection will lead to a lasting relationship, and that's okay. The Stoics believed in accepting what is beyond our control and focusing on what we can influence, our mindset and actions. When you approach a relationship with this perspective, you release the need to control or force an outcome. This relaxed, self-assured attitude not only makes you more attractive, but also allows you to enjoy the process of getting to know her without undue stress. In essence, dropping the pressure and raising the confidence is about embodying a calm, grounded energy that draws her toward you naturally. By giving her space, focusing on your own growth, and embracing uncertainty with grace, you create an environment where attraction can flourish. Confidence isn't about doing more, it's about being more composed, more intentional, and more authentic. When you lead with these qualities, you not only avoid pushing her away but also create a connection that's built on mutual respect and genuine attraction. Chapter 4. The Art of Keeping Her Curious. Curiosity is one of the most potent forces in attraction. When a woman is intrigued by you, when there are still things she wants to uncover, her interest grows naturally. Sharing too much about yourself up front may seem like a way to establish a connection, but it can actually have the opposite effect. The excitement of getting to know you fades if there's nothing left to discover. Mastering the art of keeping her curious means revealing your layers gradually, allowing her to feel the thrill of uncovering more about you over time. Consider your conversations. Whether in person or over text, avoid overloading her with details about your life. Instead, offer glimpses that invite her curiosity and encourage her to ask questions. For instance, when she asks how your day was, resist the urge to provide a full rundown. Instead of saying, "I went to the gym, grabbed lunch, then watched a movie," try something like, "Had a great workout this morning, made me think about how important routines are. How do you like to stay active?" This response not only keeps things concise, but also shifts the focus to her, fostering a deeper connection. The principle applies to all aspects of your interactions. When sharing stories or achievements, give her just enough to be intrigued without revealing every detail. If you're working on an exciting project, for example, mention it casually but hold back the specifics. Say something like, "I'm working on something I'm really passionate about. Can't wait to see where it goes." This creates an air of mystery and gives her a reason to follow up or express curiosity. Maintaining a sense of mystery also extends to how you present yourself emotionally. Being open and vulnerable is essential for building trust, but that doesn't mean laying everything bare right away. Share your values and thoughts incrementally. For example, instead of immediately diving into your life philosophy, start with a small insight like, "I've been thinking a lot about how challenges shape us. What's a challenge that taught you something valuable?" This approach not only keeps her engaged, but also deepens the emotional connection over time. Mystery works so well because it activates a basic psychological principle: people value what they have to work for. When you reveal everything about yourself too quickly, there's no longer a sense of discovery. However, when she feels like there's always something new to learn about you, her interest and attraction continue to grow. This doesn't mean being evasive or withholding, it's about pacing your revelation so the relationship evolves naturally and excitingly. Texting is another area where the art of keeping her curious shines. Instead of always being the one to initiate or carry the conversation, let her take the lead sometimes. If she asks about your plans, give a brief but intriguing answer. For example, instead of saying, "I'm going to a concert with friends," you might say, "Got something fun lined up tonight. What's your go-to way to unwind after a long week?" This not only keeps the conversation dynamic, but also encourages her to invest in the interaction. Even when planning dates, you can use curiosity to your advantage. Instead of giving her all the details upfront, build anticipation by dropping hints. If you're taking her to a new restaurant, say something like, "I've got a spot in mind that I think you'll love. It's got a vibe that's hard to forget." This creates excitement and gives her something to look forward to. The small act of not over-explaining turns ordinary moments into memorable experiences. The Stoics understood the importance of balance and restraint, which applies perfectly to keeping her curious. Seneca's wisdom, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end," captures the essence of this principle. When you leave space for discovery, you allow the relationship to continually evolve, with each new layer building on the last. It's important to note that keeping her curious isn't about playing games or being manipulative. Authenticity is key. Your goal isn't to fabricate a mysterious persona, but to let your natural complexity unfold over time. Everyone has layers, interests, and stories that take time to uncover. By pacing how you share these elements of yourself, you create a more engaging and fulfilling dynamic. Additionally, fostering curiosity works both ways. Show genuine interest in her life and leave space for her to reveal things about herself at her own pace. Ask thoughtful questions and listen attentively when she shares. This reciprocal curiosity builds mutual respect and ensures that the connection is meaningful rather than one-sided. Ultimately, the art of keeping her curious is about creating a relationship that feels alive and ever-evolving. When she feels there's always more to discover about you, she'll be drawn to you in a way that's both exciting and enduring. By combining mystery with authenticity, you cultivate an irresistible presence that keeps her invested and intrigued. Chapter 5. Tip 1. Less is more with texting. Texting is often where many men unknowingly sabotage their chances. By overdoing it, sending too many messages, expecting immediate replies, or overanalyzing her response time, they can come across as needy or desperate. The key to mastering texting lies in restraint, balance, and intention. Rather than bombarding her with messages, focus on quality over quantity to create a dynamic that feels effortless and engaging. Texting should never become the foundation of your connection. Its purpose is to complement the relationship, not replace meaningful in-person interactions. Instead of trying to have deep or endless conversations via text, reserve those moments for when you're face-to-face. This makes your time together feel special and keeps texting light and playful, a tool to maintain rapport and keep her intrigued. For instance, consider the impact of a simple, thoughtful message like, "Saw something today that reminded me of you." It's short, personal, and shows her you're thinking about her without demanding a lengthy response. Compare this to a long-winded text detailing every minor event in your day or asking dozens of questions all at once. The former creates curiosity and warmth, while the latter risks overwhelming her and diminishing the appeal of your interactions. Restraint in texting aligns beautifully with the principles of Stoicism. As Marcus Aurelius advised, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you avoid the urge to overtext or demand immediate replies, you demonstrate emotional control and self-respect. You are signaling that your world doesn't revolve around her response, which is an incredibly attractive quality. Another benefit of texting less, but with intention, is that it naturally makes her more engaged. When every message has meaning, she'll look forward to hearing from you instead of feeling inundated with constant notifications. She'll start associating your texts with positive emotions because they're thoughtful, light, and purposeful, not excessive or draining. Think about how you feel when someone floods your inbox or phone with messages. It often creates pressure, making communication feel more like an obligation than a pleasure. By keeping your texts concise and engaging, you remove that pressure and make her interactions with you enjoyable. This approach also leaves room for her to take the initiative, allowing her to reach out when she wants to. It's also important to remember that timing matters. You don't need to respond to her immediately every single time. Taking your time to reply occasionally, not out of game playing, but simply because you're focused on your own life, creates a sense of balance. It shows her that while you value her, you also value your priorities. This subtle dynamic can actually make you more appealing because it signals confidence and self-sufficiency. Texting less doesn't mean being distant or disinterested. It's about being intentional with your communication. A well-placed compliment, a playful tease, or a thoughtful note about something you noticed can go a long way in deepening her interest. For example, instead of asking, "What are you doing?" multiple times a day, you might say, "Hope your meeting went well, sounds like you crushed it." This type of text acknowledges her life and effort while keeping the tone light and supportive. Another effective strategy is to incorporate humor and shared experiences into your texts. If you both laughed about something during your last date, referencing it casually can reignite those positive feelings. For instance, if you joked about her favorite coffee order, you could text, "Just saw someone order a pumpkin latte with extra whipped cream, guessing they're part of your club." This not only makes her smile, but also reminds her of the fun you had together. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of focusing on what is within your control. In texting, this means controlling your own actions rather than trying to influence hers. You can't dictate how quickly she replies or how much she engages, but you can control the tone, frequency, and quality of your messages. By approaching texting with this mindset, you avoid the frustration and anxiety that often come from overanalyzing her responses. Ultimately, texting is about building anticipation for the next time you see each other. Instead of trying to maintain a constant dialogue, use your messages to create moments of connection that leave her looking forward to your next interaction. When she knows that every text from you carries meaning and thoughtfulness, she'll be naturally drawn to you. By texting less, but with purpose, you're not just showing restraint, you're demonstrating that you value your time and hers. This level of self-assuredness and intention is rare, and it sets you apart from the majority of men who rely on excessive communication to feel secure. When you adopt this approach, you'll find that not only do your interactions improve, but she'll also begin to value and appreciate the connection even more. Chapter 6, Tip 2, Give her glimpses, not the full story. Building intrigue in a relationship isn't about withholding who you are, it's about creating a dynamic where she's drawn to uncover more. Sharing glimpses of your world rather than laying out every detail is a powerful way to spark curiosity and keep her engaged. This subtle art turns everyday interactions into opportunities for connection. For instance, let's say you're working on a personal project, such as starting a business, pursuing a creative hobby, or planning a trip. Instead of detailing every aspect of your work or plan, keep it casual and open-ended. A comment like, "I've been working on something really exciting, can't wait to see how it turns out," gives her just enough information to pique her interest without overwhelming her with unnecessary details. She's likely to follow up with questions, which creates a natural flow of conversation and a sense of discovery. This technique isn't about manipulation, it's about pacing. When you share too much too soon, it can feel like there's nothing left to explore. But when you share selectively, you give her the space to ask, to wonder, and to want to know more. This approach mirrors the unfolding of a great story. Each chapter leaves you eager for the next. Think about how this principle plays out in your daily interactions. Instead of sending lengthy texts explaining your entire day, try a brief, intriguing update like, "Just had a game-changing idea at work, let's see if it pans out." Or, when discussing plans, you might say, "I have an idea for the weekend I think you'll love, stay tuned." These small moments create anticipation and encourage her to engage more deeply with your story. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, advised, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." This wisdom highlights the importance of thoughtful communication. It's not about saying less, it's about saying the right things in the right way. Every word you share should have purpose, inviting her into your world without overwhelming her with unnecessary information. Additionally, giving her glimpses of your life also involves your actions. Show, don't just tell. If you're passionate about something, let her see it through your enthusiasm and commitment. For example, instead of talking endlessly about your love for music, casually mention you're attending a live show or working on a playlist. These glimpses of your interests show her who you are in a way that feels organic and compelling. The beauty of this approach is that it respects her autonomy. It allows her to engage with you at her own pace without feeling pressured or overwhelmed. This creates a dynamic where she feels like an active participant in building the connection rather than a passive recipient of information. Moreover, when you leave room for curiosity, it sets a tone of mutual respect. You're not oversharing in an attempt to seek validation. Instead, you're presenting yourself as someone who has a rich, fulfilling life, someone she'd naturally want to learn more about. This positions you as confident and self-assured, qualities that are universally attractive. In practical terms, this doesn't mean you should be secretive or evasive. Transparency and honesty are still crucial. The idea is to balance openness with a sense of pacing, allowing the relationship to unfold naturally. Share highlights, not exhaustive details. Provide context, but not an entire narrative. Give her the opportunity to lean in and ask questions, making her feel engaged and invested in discovering more about you. As this dynamic grows, you'll find that the conversations become richer and more meaningful. She'll feel like she's peeling back layers of your personality, uncovering depth and authenticity that make her want to stick around. This builds a foundation for a connection that feels exciting, organic, and real. By giving her glimpses instead of the full story, you create a space where curiosity and engagement thrive. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about understanding the art of pacing and letting the relationship evolve naturally. When you master this balance, you'll find that not only does she want to know more about you, but she'll also feel more invested in the connection you're building together. Chapter 7, Final Thoughts, Confidence, Mystery, and Self-Assuredness. The ultimate key to navigating relationships without falling into the trap of trying too hard lies in mastering confidence, embracing mystery, and embodying self-assuredness. These qualities not only set you apart but also create an aura of intrigue and respect that naturally attracts genuine connection. Confidence begins with valuing yourself. When you respect your own time, space, and energy, you establish boundaries that communicate self-worth. A man who stands firm in his beliefs and passions becomes magnetic because he projects stability and independence. This isn't about arrogance, it's about knowing what you bring to the table and not feeling the need to overextend yourself to prove it. Mystery adds an exciting layer to your personality. Sharing just enough to keep her intrigued invites curiosity and engagement. This isn't about playing games, it's about pacing the relationship in a way that allows her to lean in and discover more about you on her own terms. Keep her guessing, not about your intentions, but about the layers of your personality. Self-assuredness ties it all together. When you operate with quiet confidence, you show that you're comfortable in your own skin and don't require external validation to feel complete. Women are naturally drawn to men who exude this kind of unshakable inner peace. It's about showing that you're content with who you are and are open to sharing that with someone, but only if they're willing to meet you halfway. Stoic philosophy offers profound guidance here. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. In the context of relationships, this means resisting the urge to react with desperation or excessive effort. Instead, act with intention and purpose. Don't let the fear of losing someone dictate your actions. A relationship built on mutual respect and genuine attraction will thrive without the need for constant chasing or validation. Focus on your growth, your passions, and your purpose. When she sees that you're a man driven by his values and content in his own journey, she'll naturally gravitate toward you. This creates a dynamic where the connection is based on mutual admiration and respect rather than one-sided effort. In the end, the most attractive men are those who lead with authenticity, confidence, and a sense of purpose. They don't chase, they attract. They don't overexert, they balance effort with self-respect. And they don't lose themselves in the pursuit of another's approval, they remain grounded in their own worth. By embracing these principles, you'll not only avoid pushing her away but also create the foundation for a connection that's meaningful, respectful, and lasting. Take a step back, let her come to you, and trust that the right connection will flourish naturally. Remember, the secret to building a deep and lasting connection isn't about chasing, overcompensating, or proving your worth. It's about being confident in who you are, embracing your individuality, and creating space for genuine attraction to grow. Stoicism teaches us to act with intention and stay rooted in what truly matters: our character, our purpose, and our peace of mind. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So focus on becoming the best version of yourself, and the right connections will naturally follow. If this episode resonated with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more insights, and share your own experiences in the comments. What tactics have worked for you? What lessons have you learned about avoiding the trap of trying too hard? And most importantly, remember, confidence, mystery, and self-assuredness will always set you apart. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.